The hardest part of getting hired at Ubisoft as a senior Foley artist wasn't the interview. It was actually sitting down on the job and playing the game at the playtest. In this video, I'm gonna highlight why it is absolutely necessary for you to play games if you wanna work in game audio. And if you have seen this character walking around in my videos and wondered, what has this to do with Foley? In this video, it will all make sense. Why was it so hard for me to actually do those playtests? I mean, I was a gamer in my childhood. I played Super Mario on the NES. I played Tetris on the Game Boy. I played Commandos, The Settlers, Age of Empires on the PC, even made it to a LAN party once. And I played Tony Hawk and GTA San Andreas on the PlayStation, but that is a long time ago. Almost 20 years went by without me playing games seriously, because I was dedicated to becoming a professional rapper, and after 8 years doing that, I then focused on film sound, and that actually became my profession. So in 2018, when I was already an established Foley artist, a fellow Foley artist reached out to me, Almut Schwacke. She called me and said, "Bastian, are you interested in applying for a job at Ubisoft as a senior Foley artist?" My instant response was, I don't think so. I'm not a gamer anymore. But something stuck with me because the position was about Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. And then I thought, oh man, I always wanted to work on blockbuster movies. Maybe I can make it happen in games. I wasn't sure about the whole thing, so I called my friend Bilal Spieb, who is a game developer. He developed the game Typo Man, and his response was, go for it, because it's a great chance and it could open up a lot of doors for you later on. Then I applied. I called Stefan Randelshofer before. He said, you have to go the official route. So I applied and they invited me to an interview. So I packed my whole station wagon with my complete Foley studio and drove there, installed everything in the parking lot, and then made a live demo in their small audio office room, them playing the game and I'm doing the Foley live. So then we put everything together and they could instantly listen to my results. That's how I got the job. If you want the breakdown of this whole interview situation, there's a separate video you can check. So I was now in. I had the job, but sitting down at Ubisoft the first day was then different than what I expected. I did a lot of research, is crunch real and what is the gaming industry about? But then the reality hit hard. I had to onboard and there was so much to learn. Not only the security standards and the general onboarding process of the company, but also how to run the game on the computer, how to install the build, how to operate things like Perforce, Jira, and all these things that were completely new to me. And I not even had just one PC. As a Foley artist, I basically worked on all the projects at once. I had one PC for Assassin's Creed and some other projects, and then I had another PC for Avatar, and that was actually placed in another building with the team that also worked on Avatar. And then when the playtests came, I was always a bit anxious. It was not only tricky for me to load the build and get it running, but then to actually do the tasks within the game, to playtest and to feedback then later on. That was the hardest thing, and it became worse and worse if we did co-op things, because then I had to do things in the game with other colleagues and I most of the time just messed up badly. And that was when it hit me. And this is actually what this whole video is about. Here are 5 lessons that I learned in 5 years at Ubisoft that I wish I knew before I even started there. Number 1, you have to play games in order to understand them. Not just to enjoy games, but to understand the grammar of games. Input, feedback, tension, reward, pacing. All these things you cannot really feel by just reading about them or watch other people play them. You have to play yourself. Number 2, not only play your own game, play adjacent games in that niche. That way you can learn what's standard in that genre. You can learn what you like about those games, what you don't like, and what is actually a standard in that genre you're actually working on. Number 3, research playing and fun playing both feed the work. You need the research playing, going back and forth into different places to check the ambiences, to repeat certain actions and break the game and see the mechanics behind it. And play the game and go with the flow of it, both to actually build your knowledge about the systems and to also enjoy and get the taste of it. Number 4, the time investment is real, especially in the beginning. The frustration can be hard, and it was hard for me. And sometimes I looked at YouTube tutorials how to actually open that door. But that's wrong. Be the player who can open the door before you are the sound designer who designs the sound for that door. The friction is the lesson. Number 5, find games that you actually enjoy playing, because otherwise nothing will stick. I started out buying a PlayStation 4 and all the Ubisoft titles I could find, starting with Assassin's Creed, and I was really bad at it and the frustration level was extreme. I almost gave up, but then a colleague gave me the game Gerner, which I really started to enjoy, and that game opened my kind of understanding also towards more complicated games and what they ask of me. Why does this GTA San Andreas character show up in my videos? It's not branding, it's autobiography. It's that version of myself that was actually playing games before I entered the world of music and sound design. When I came back to playing games in 2019, that was the only frame of reference I had. That alter ego character is me 20 years later stepping into that Foley stage. This is where I actually play now. I have a full schedule, so time is limited. But here and there I can enjoy a bit of Gerner or play other games for a couple of minutes to stay connected to the medium. Here's the thing that no one in game audio wants to say out loud. You don't have to be a gamer in order to work in game audio. You can come from film and music like I did, from theater or other fields, and transfer your knowledge into the games. But you have to become a gamer. Not a hardcore gamer, not a competitive one, but a working gamer. Someone who has the gamepad in their hands long enough so that the medium doesn't feel foreign anymore. If you want to apply into the industry as a stranger, you don't play games at all. It will maybe not hit you hard in the interview, but it will hit on the job. One last tip. When you are currently not a player, but you want to work in games, if you apply, don't lie about this. Rather, start playing now and change this before you apply. Because when you tell people something that is not true, it will fall back on you. And that is something you don't want to start a career with or just a position in a company. Stay honest and you will notice that people appreciate you for it. That's the story behind my GTA San Andreas alter ego, the whole Ubisoft story, and why I keep saying that playing games must be a working habit. What was actually the game that you clicked with, the game that you played that made you want to work on games? Put it in the comments. Anyone who wants to go deeper on Foley, the link to the Foley Guild is in the description. And having said that, see you in one of the next videos. Peace, the Foley teacher.